So question to the panelists about the role of ideas in organizing. How intellectually engaging is it? In what ways does organizing feed the thinking side of yourself?
Always say that when you don't know how to do certain things or how to go about, sometimes you got to go back to the community and invent something. Like it's actually very engaging. If there's not a training program, then we will make it. It's like part of what you have to do all the time is be creative organizing. You learn the basics, you learn the one-to-ones, you learn propositions, you learn self-interest, you learn how to run campaigns. But in reality, organizing, you're dealing with people, and people sometimes are unpredictable, right? And sometimes maybe you didn't get clear about self-interest from your target and you're not prepared. And so you have to think fast. You have to move fast sometimes and change the plan. So I think organizing brings out in you the challenge of not only imagining the world as you want it to be, but making that true. And so it does push you to think, why do I act the way I act? Was I conditioned to think this way? How do I think different? And how do I push people to think different? So I think it does challenge you in that.
It most definitely challenges you greatly. Organizing is an art form. Sometimes you're going to face issues and you don't even know how you're going to tackle it. Organizing is the canvas and you are the artist. You have to organize and strategize. If you can't strategize and plan out what exactly you're doing, your artwork is going to be sloppy and no one's going to want to buy that artwork. And with that, there's a big part of creativity. And just like Catalina said, sometimes you're going to have to come up with the training. For example, for my young people are not going to receive certain trainings like seasoned adults are, meaning sometimes I'm going to have to switch it up and have to add things and take out things to make sure that what I'm training them on and getting them prepared for it is exactly enveloped and they're fully developed exactly how they need to be. And you're going to make mistakes. You're probably going to make more mistakes than you're going to have successes. And look, I'm 20 years old and I'm a organizer. I've been organizing for about 1.5 years. And I promise you, I made mistakes, but out of those mistakes, I had great successes. So organizing is about trial and error. You're going to miss a campaign, but hey, sometimes that fundraising event might go right. That campaign might be a success, but you ain't turn out enough people how you're supposed to. And also another thing is self-reflection. Are you able to face yourself on a day-to-day basis? Are you able to hold yourself accountable in the people that you work with when they fall short on what they do? And if you have those leaders that necessarily hold you accountable as well.
But I totally agree with what they've been saying about the personal work, the internal work. But in my work, one of the great things is about learning about fields that I would never otherwise know about because of the issue campaign. So for example, through our deep listening process that we did over the first half of last year, transportation gaps in rural transit were a huge problem people were facing. We said, well, what do we do about it, right? What does transportation look like in rural areas? And we got to talk with people from around the country, grassroots organizations, experts in the field. We got to go tour other transit agencies and just unlocking the door to see a whole new world that I wouldn't otherwise have gotten to see.
I would add that sometimes what people think about organizing is complaining when something is not right. And sometimes that has a place within organizing. But when you're trying to build and use collective power, it's very important that you have a vision about how would you resolve a problem if you were in a position of the landlord or the president of the company or the mayor or the governor to question about the world of ideas. It is very important to use your imagination and the ego of the leaders of the organization to create a compelling vision of what is possible so that you can organize in that direction and propose something, propose a solution to the problem. That comes with the responsibility of having power. So as an organizer, you learn about access to healthcare and how hospitals are funded and what is their obligation and what are the rules in the schools about serving different populations and what are the rules of housing in your own state. It becomes very important that you understand that so that you're rooted in reality, that you have the ego and the imagination to provide a way forward and that you propose something. Otherwise, politicians and decision makers will tell you, oh yeah, we agree, that's a big problem. We're with you.